Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Welcome to the Chatty Daddies, everybody. Today we're going to be checking in with our new daddy, Trey.
And filling in for Trey is our new chatty stepdaddy, Alan Evans, from A Sandwich and Some Lovin' podcast.
Hello, I'm Alan A. Trey in the house.
Wow, right
There
off the
he is.
top with bits and everything.
Hey, guys.
Thank you for joining us.
Guys, this is kind of a on the down low dream come true, because just the other day we were talking about you guys on A Sandwich and Some Lovin'. We were talking about Chatty Daddies. We were.
What'd you guys say?
Well, Kelly, we were doing a spot, and it was for ZipRecruiter. Okay, hashtag not an ad. It was for ZipRecruiter, and she mentioned twice during the ad, well, if I ever need a new podcast host, I'll go to ZipRecruiter. So then after the spot, I said, what are you doing? Why do you think you're going to need a new podcast host? She said, well, you never know. And I said, well, hey, the guys over at Chatty Daddies, maybe they'll accept me.
Yeah,
Of course.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so here it is. This is a dream come true. I'm on Chatty Daddies.
This could be the audition. I mean, we don't have a set number of mics that we're looking for here at the Chatty Daddy. So, you know.
Well, hold on, JC. Whenever we do get those ads in, we're already splitting them 3 ways.
Oh, you're right. We might have to cut Trey, even though he's a new dad.
Hey, I'll work pro bono for a while. That's all right.
Well, we need to check in with Trey. A lot's been happening in his life right now, so Trey's on the line. Trey, what's up?
Hello, how are you?
Good. How's
You guys miss me or what?
We do. We really do. I'm trying to run this board in here. We've got everyone's from 4 different locations. Hopefully I did it right. If not, sorry, guys.
Well, we can hear each other. That's all that matters right now.
Trey,
Yeah.
it's been a week down. How's dad life?
Pretty good. Quade just sleeps a whole lot. That's mainly it. He'll sleep for a couple hours at a time, which is really lucky for us, and then he'll do a little eating, and then he'll go right back to sleep.
Yeah, they don't do much, Trey. They just
They don't do anything.
They
Yeah.
just sleep and they poop and then they pee and then they eat some more and then they go back to sleep, and you're sitting there going like, when are you going to do something cool, dude?
Yeah.
When are they going to do something cool? It's just poop, eat, sleep.
Yeah, it is this big run up. You're pregnant for 9 months. Everyone's telling you, "Oh, be ready. Oh, it's crazy," and then not a lot happens.
No.
For the first few weeks.
And here's the thing, and maybe Alan, you can agree with this because you've had a few kids yourself, and Nick, you have too. I almost feel, because Trey's on paternity leave right now, and I feel like we could almost go back to work as soon as our wives give birth, right? And we should be fine for the first, 3 months. And then when the kids start rolling and moving and being a little more verbal, that's when we need the paternity leave. That's when we need to be at home,
Yeah.
making sure these kids are not getting in trouble.
JC, especially if your wife breastfeeds, it's like, what am I even doing here? But if you even mention that, hey, maybe I could just go into work early now and stay a little later. Oh, that you don't want to bring that up. You don't want to bring that up.
Of course not. Are you guys are you're breastfeeding right now, or at least Kara is, right, Trey?
She is. We did. Okay, so there was a little bit of a bilirubin issue. Does everyone know the baby term bilirubin?
Never heard
what
of
is it?
Yeah, my daughter had that, Trey.
Oh, really?
Oh, perfect. There you
Yeah.
go. Alan, no, so that's what gives them jaundice. And I've been told I say jaundice weird. It's jaundice, but I say it with a little French flair, jaundice. So that's what makes them turn a little yellow. And so bilirubin is what builds up in their system to give them jaundice. In the hospital, we were told, his bilirubin levels are great. well below anything that would ever need treatment. You're good to go. Go home. Never worry about it again. And then we went for his first checkup, and they were like, ooh, he's looking a little bit yellow. Why don't we go to the hospital and get another bilirubin check? And going to the hospital sounds scary. It was just like an outpatient thing. But they were just like, go here. That's where they have the equipment to do the test. And so they were like, hey, his bilirubin levels are a little high now, so what if we do a little supplementation with formula just to get his whole body moving, get the waste out of him and make him poop a little more, really.
Yeah.
That's been working really well. You know what? Actually, it worked like gangbusters. Now it's like every hour and a half there's some sort of major diaper incident.
Mm-hmm. Trey, did they ask you to keep Quaid in like the sunlight by the window? That was one thing they had us do with Brooke, because she was yellow in the hospital, and they said the sunlight helps.
The vitamin D, yeah.
Here is one of my least favorite parts of the medical community is I can't get a straight answer out of anybody.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
So we go to the pediatrician, and she's like, oh yeah, so just make sure to keep feeding him, and that'll be what gets everything out. There's no need to put him in direct sunlight. That could be bad for his skin. Could get a sunburn. It's rare. They're very fragile. And then we go to the hospital, and the guy doing the lab, he has to do a little heel prick and take some blood from Quaid. He goes, just set him in the windowsill to cool like a pie. And I was like, okay, well, are you a doctor? I don't actually know, but you work in the medical community, so maybe you're right. And then online, of course, that's all over the place. So we couldn't get an exact straight answer on that. We did it anyway because it seems to be an old wives' tale. And if we can't learn from people that have done it before, then what are we doing? So we've been sticking them in indirect sunlight, like sitting by a window. And we're just trying everything.
You know what, guys, I kind of feel like if Quaid was a pie, he'd probably be apple. He is an American baby. There's no one more American than his daddy and mommy. Quaid's an apple pie, guys.
I would go with banana. I think he would be a banana nut pie because Trey said that Quaid's a little bit yellow right now, so I would just go with banana.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's definitely creamy. Maybe he's a cream pie.
Any Boston cream in your family, Trey?
Oh no, we're not. We're a Mississippi and Wisconsin family.
Okay,
that's as far back as my lineage goes.
Hey Trey,
so maybe a cheese pie, maybe a quiche.
Yeah. To switch on over, I guess it's still kind of dairy. Have you tried the boob milk yet?
I have not. There is. Okay, so I assumed it was like if I go outside to my faucet and just crank the nozzle open, I figure it's going to flood my yard.
No.
It's like a drop every 4 minutes of full on industrial strength pumping.
Yeah.
And there's 2 drops. So I have not worked my way up. I assume that there will be more later on in life, but for this first week, there hasn't been a ton. And that's for Quaid.
It kind of depends on the woman, though. I mean, the titty fairy blesses some more than others.
True.
That's true.
Yeah,
you are right about that. So I do have one issue that happened that was a little scary that I figured I'd tell you guys about.
Okay.
So we got Quaid circumcised, right? And he, for some reason, he was only having dirty diapers whenever he was out of the room. He had one when he got his circumcision. He had one when they were giving him a bath. So we hadn't changed a dirty diaper really in the hospital. We changed one that was very minor right before we left. And they're like, all right, cool, y'all good to go. Y'all know how to change a diaper. And y'all are good enough for being parents, I guess. So then we get home, and later that night, he has a very, very dirty diaper. I'm shocked it all stayed in the diaper. I was very lucky on that.
It's sticky and black.
Yeah, It's a mess. And so we have been, we're nervous already about, how do we change the dirty diaper? He's going to be screaming. So we tag team it. And so, Carol hold the legs, and I'll wipe. And so then whenever we take off his little gauze that's protecting the tip of his dong, we're holding his legs, but his hands were free to roam, and he goes straight for it on night one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a magnet, dude. You already know that as a man, that we have a magnet on our hand, and there's another magnet on our penis, and that's just how it goes.
Al Bundy.
You're right. That should have been my thought process, but he goes straight for it, and he is holding on with all of his might. And I'm like blowing on his fingers, and I'm going, "It's okay, Clay. It's okay. We're gonna be fine." And he will not let go. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, he's going to be disfigured for life. We're going straight back up to the hospital. He's going to rip it off.
Oh.
So we get him finally to release it, and Kara's like, he just grabbed my finger. It's okay. He didn't grab my... For the 30 seconds right there, I was like, this is the end of the world. Like, oh, my God. And that's the biggest problem we've had so far.
Well, either
that's not bad.
Either Kara has small fingers or Quaid has a big guy working there. What is it?
I'm going to say that it's probably Kara has small fingers. That's my guess. If history has taught us anything.
Trey, we got a fan question submitted to us at chattydaddies.com, where you can always write us. Kristen wrote us and said, OMG Trey, your baby is the cutest. Is he making weird noises yet? I remember I couldn't sleep because my little girl made so much noise even though she was sleeping.
No real weird noises. Like, I feel like it's all like snoring or, like, last night I did hear, I was half asleep, and I heard a weird liquid noise.
Yeah, I know what that is.
I haven't heard that one yet.
It was probably a fart, or he pooped.
So I sat there and was listening. It turns out the cat had jumped in bed and was licking Kara's hand.
Oh
God.
And so I'm like, what in the world could that be? And it's completely dark in there, and I didn't want to go wake up. He wasn't crying. I didn't want to wake him up or anything. So it was just a cat. Everything's good.
Has the cat got jealous?
The cat has not been jealous. Our dog, Alan, has what is called cocker rage. Let's see if you've heard of that one before.
I have not heard of that one.
I think that's me after 4 days of not getting some.
Yeah.
So we have a Cocker Spaniel mix, and if you try to take his food from him, or if he falls asleep next to you and then you try to move him, he will lose his mind on you, and it's called cocker rage. He's
cocker rage.
I'm not exactly sure that that's the medical term. A veterinarian may not tell you that, but that's what we've dubbed it. Okay. And
interesting.
So he will attack you, even though he was he's been your best friend for years and years and years. He will turn and try to murder you. So we've been keeping the dog away from the baby.
Good idea.
And at least until he's a little bit older. I don't really know. We haven't had any issues yet, but that's the one we're worried about. The cat will love him just fine.
Okay, that's good.
You're doing good then.
The joys of parenthood, isn't it, fellas? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man.
There's so much going on over at Trey's
I remember
house.
Kinsey used to make me wake up in the middle of the night and do a breathing check on Kaysen when we first had him to make sure he was still alive. Every night for the first 6 weeks, just breathing check.
And sometimes you're like, he's going a long time without breathing, and then boom, there it is. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oof.
We're living in the 21st century, and I have a little sock that goes on him and measures his O2 levels and his heart rate and all that. Yeah, it's great.
Look at you, Trey.
Pretty amazing. Hey, Alan, before I go, while I got you here, how often are you playing golf?
Oh gosh, not often. I just took my son out for the first time in a long time, but I'm probably going to play more now that the weather's nice.
Well, I say we get together and play some golf, but don't bring your son because he's going to beat both of us.
I tell you what, he's good at anything he tries, but we can leave him at home. You and I can go out and have a few beers.
Did you guys happen to see Alan's post about his son Dylan? I don't know what club he was hitting, but it was at least a 3-wood, and he had the best swing I think I've ever seen. How old is Dylan?
He just turned 8.
Really? I would have. I mean, is he big? He looked like he was bigger. Maybe it was the camera angle.
No, Trey. He's tiny. He's a little guy.
Oh, really?
In fact, I just bought him a leather jacket for his birthday, and I had to return the one I bought on Amazon. I bought him a 7'8". He's 8 years old, but I had to return it for a 4'5". And he fits in a 4'5". He's just a real kind of wiry, just kind of a slight build kid,
but super athletic,
but very athletic. Yeah, he's very athletic.
Dude, I've woken up for the past 2 days thinking about the video you posted on Instagram. I was like, how do I get that shot the way he got it? It was perfect, man.
I'll tell you what, he's a natural. He just picks things up. Man. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
He's going to be that guy,
He'll be that guy.
Don't invite Dill because he's going to whoop our butts in every sport.
Take our money, yeah.
Yeah.
Trey, you got a lot going on over at your house. Have Kara go take a nap, go do some chores around the house, and we'll talk to you here in a few weeks.
All right, cool. Talk to y'all later.
Later, Trey.
Bye, Trey.
Bye, Trey.
Hold it down for you. Now, we do have Alan filling in for Trey, which, is going to open up our show or our podcast to a lot of questions that some of you may be having out there, especially because, Alan, you've dealt with divorce.
I have. I sure have. I was divorced in 2014-15 time frame, and then remarried in 2016 to one of your coworkers that you know pretty well, I think.
The Raspberry.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny. I look back at my life. It's almost like two lives, but I've been, married the first time without kids, then with kids, and then I was divorced. So then I was playing single dad, and then there were times when I was without my kids because they would go back and forth. So then I was dating with and without kids. And then I was remarried. And Kelly has a daughter. So now I'm remarried with my 3 children and then a bonus daughter. So I guess like a lot of divorced dads, I have a lot of different perspectives, I guess.
Dude, you've gone through way more than Nick and I have actually had to deal with. But my main thing is, maybe some people are dealing with that right now, or they're going through a separation. But the one thing I hear from people going through that is, when is the right time to talk to the kids and let them know? That's the one thing, because you had really little ones, but Brooke was of age, right? She knew what was happening.
Yeah, she was, when everything went down, I guess she would have been about 7 or 8. And then, I had 2 little guys, and Dylan was still in diapers. So I was, I was a single dad on my own. And I told Kelly before, I'd go to the grocery store sometimes and I have to take all 3 kids because I couldn't leave them at home just to get diapers, and I'm running in there with a stroller or a double stroller. And I'm just thinking, wow, how did I get here? That was difficult. But I also have thought back on all that time, and I've thought, when I was on my own and with those 3 kids, I finally felt like, wow, I can do this. I can do it. I've never had a chance to do it because I was always traveling and working so much. And I was still doing that when I had the 3 on my own, but I had to do it. I didn't have any help. And I remember that was a very difficult time, but it wasn't the time where I thought, oh, woe is me. I won't be able to do this. It was very fulfilling. That's the one word I could describe it as. It was, I just always felt very fulfilled that I can do this. I can be a single dad and I can make this work, and the kids are okay. But as far as, answering your question about when do you tell them, I think it's kind of different for every situation. It depends on the ages of the children, how amicable the divorce is, kind of what the circumstances are, what's going on. And the way I best tried to explain our situation was, your mom and dad, they just had a disagreement, and now they have two different houses, and that doesn't mean that we love you any less. You can tell kids that, but unfortunately for a lot of divorced kids, they'll still think that they had something to do with the divorce. Yeah. But I would try to always reinforce, look, I'd love to see you when it's my time to see you or my turn to see you. I want you to come see me, hang out, let's do things together, and things will be okay. I promise everything's going to be okay. But it's tough, it is tough, and I know a lot of people go through it, and everybody kind of handles it differently.
Yeah, and so I imagine as you as life goes on, as the kids do get a little older, they may be more curious. Have they been asking more questions, or are they kind of cool with everything how it is?
Nick, they haven't been asking a lot of questions, and historically, they really haven't asked a lot of questions. And I would suspect it's because, both parents have given them enough information to say, okay, I kind of get what's going on now. Mm-hmm. And then also both households are very loving, positive households.
Right.
So they're going back and forth to, a divorced child, unfortunately, has to bounce back between two households. In our case, they go back and forth to two loving households where, fortunately, for them, they have good schools and all the things that they need and clothes and a nice house to live in. And, they have the kind of the basic things that kids want. And I think number one is that time, they want that time with their parents, and they unfortunately, the only way they can get that is to go back and forth.
Yeah.
But, they haven't really asked a lot of questions about that. And like I said, I suspect it's because we've tried to keep things as normal as possible. And it's really, really difficult when being married with kids in a traditional, I'm air quote, traditional household with two married parents is difficult. You guys know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know that better than anybody. When you don't get along with your spouse and you're still under that same roof, it gets a little more difficult. Mm-hmm. Now, when you split and there's two households, that is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And it's amplified when people don't get along. When they get along, or it's amicable and you get through the business of helping the children go to school, go to activities, pay for what they need, do all those things, I think it just makes it so much easier for them to focus on, okay, I don't need to worry about stuff. I just need to kind of, go to school and be as normal as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you feel like, because you make a point when you separate homes and you have two different households, and I know your ex moved on, she's remarried, you're remarried. Mm-hmm. So when you form two different families, like you guys have, there's different ideologies. Do you guys sit around and talk about that and be like, hey, at my house, the kids are allowed to do this, 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 and not this? That way there's no crossover, or they're not, you get what I'm saying? So they don't go off road?
Yeah. JC, to be totally honest, there's not a lot of coordination between the two households. Like, as far as, okay, I mean, are you brushing teeth like after every meal?
Yeah, like the
are
rules
you,
and all that.
Yeah, there would be coordination on more kind of the bigger questions, like, do the kids go back to school because of the coronavirus or not? Mm-hmm. We've noticed some. Maybe some problems in a certain subject, and they're kind of ongoing. Now, what do we do about that? Like I said, both households are positive, loving places for the kids to live. So both houses are a little bit different, but they still have that consistency of, a schedule, a routine, and people that get along. And I think that's really important. But
something that you touched on earlier that I definitely wanted to get into was, then there's the divorced dad that's now dating again. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that has to be, when you were first married, people dated a certain way. Now, once you're back on the scene, it's a completely different world of what to get used to dating wise. I mean,
Absolutely.
There probably weren't dating apps. There weren't the different ways that people go about now in 2020. So how did you kind of get your head in the game and navigate through this new dating world?
Oh gosh, you're exactly right, Nick. And we've talked about this on A Sandwich and Some 11 quite a bit, but when I was younger, when I was in my 20s and I just moved to Dallas, you go to the club, you go to a bar, I'd even go to the grocery store and try to, put my game on there, or a bookstore, where there were some educated, nice looking ladies. But, it was a totally different scene. Absolutely. And then I was married 16 years. So fast forward in my life to now my 40s, and I get divorced and I'm single. So gosh, now what do I do? Well, there's all these apps. And honestly, to be completely transparent, for a guy like me who was in his late or mid 40s with 3 kids, I thought there's no way nobody's going to want me. Who's going to want me? You know, and it was so what's the right word? I mean, it was very, very easy for me to get on an app and talk to people and set up a date. It really was very, very simple. And I dated, and I've told Kelly this, and we've shared a lot of this on our podcast again, but I dated a lot of different women.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. And it was fun. And it was fun. It was it was a lot of fun. And I met some interesting people. The part I was always hesitant about, and it was very frustrating for me, was after you get all that stuff out of your system, and you guys know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
But after you get all that out of your system, you're like, well, this is unfulfilling. You know, this is, you know,
repetitive.
I've done this enough now.
Sure.
I've done this enough now. I got it out of my system. It would really be nice if I could find somebody who I could go to dinner with all, you know, consistently, and be there when I wake up and be there when I go to sleep, and sit on the patio and have some coffee with, you know, just the simple things in life. Go to Home Goods, those kind of things. And the more I dated, the more I thought I'm not going to be able to find somebody like this. Who's going to want me with these, you know, my 3 children? It's just hard because they're young and so on and so forth. So I had kind of just given up.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of 2016, I had given up. And then that's when I decided to get on one more time. It was a Tuesday night, and I saw Kelly's profile, and I thought, well, okay.
And that was it.
There's a tall drink of water here. I like redheads, and I like fair-skinned girls. So I'll try it one more time, and kind of the rest was history after that.
Dang.
And I know that you and Kelly had the rule where, or I guess you had the rule, you wouldn't introduce Kelly to your kids for, was it 5 or 6 months?
6 months, yeah.
6 months.
I like that rule.
You and your ex made that rule together, right?
Yeah, we did. And, you know, I thought it was a good rule. I thought for both sides.
Sure.
You know, she wouldn't, you know, my ex wouldn't obviously want me introducing the children to a new woman every week, and I wouldn't do that. You
Right.
know, I just wouldn't do that. And that was another where I was trying to go with my story about giving up, was I was not able to find, you know, a woman that I thought, well, okay, this is somebody I'd introduce to my mother or my children. A lot of nice ladies, but nobody I really connected with on that level to where, okay, I want to invite this person to meet my children.
Yeah, Alan.
So
one of my theories, whenever I've had some single friends who are ladies or guys who are dating, and you know they can't make that connection, I always tell them there's take home, and then there's take home to mama.
Exactly.
2 different ladies there. And for guys too. For ladies that are dating, there's take home guys and take guys home to mama. So
yeah, exactly. And the 6-month rule, you know, conversely, as a dad now who, well, I can't be there for my kids 24/7, 365. It's impossible now. It's just the way it's going to be. It was nice to have that, you know, kind of assurance that, okay, you know, there's not going to be a different guy over there every week. And when she gets serious, she'll introduce them to him after that time's appropriate. So it worked both ways, you know.
And you think after going through that was a good time? Was it too short, too long? Are you still happy with the length of waiting?
Well, gosh, that's a good question. I was happy with the length with all the people I met up to when I met Kelly. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I never really had a reason to worry about the 6 months because I didn't really
have the person.
Maybe save one woman that I dated that we were kind of serious and I could see it going that direction until it fell apart. Outside of that, I never had to worry about the 6 months. Now, when Kelly and I started dating, it was very easy, normal. I could tell she was a very, very good person deep down, and I knew that I can introduce Kelly to my mom and my kids. And that was after probably 3 or 4 months. So, you know, we still had to kind of play the game, I guess, for a couple of more months. And then right after 6 months, we got them all together at a Kids Mania. And it was like they were just the best playmates. You know, that was a really fun time. They were all
the kids got along together and everything from the get-go, which was really cool, right?
They sure did. Yeah, they sure did. We were really blessed like that, because I hear from a lot of our listeners that are in, you know, blended families, and they all say the same thing. It's tough, and it doesn't all work out as perfectly as you'd like it to a lot of times, and so just for the kids to get along is a great thing for us. But even in our family, we have things that aren't perfect, you know, and they're tough to work through sometimes as a blended family.
Now, as you have your kids, but you also gained a bonus daughter with Kelly when you married her.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to that, you know, because all of a sudden you go from this is Alan to now you're stepdad. Now you have the dad title in there. Is it is it hard at times to act like a dad and, you know, tell them what they can and can't do? Because
discipline has to be tough.
The disciplining has to be tough, and I would be so scared of the "you're not my dad" line that I don't know how I would react.
Yeah, so, that's another great question, JC, and it's something that, boy, you wish you had a manual on how all this works, and you wish that somebody could say, okay, here's what's going to happen, and here's what you need to do to navigate through this. A lot of this for me it's been on the job training, and it's been learning as I go. I don't know everything about being the perfect stepdad. I really don't. I don't know everything about being the perfect dad. You know, it's just one of those things that you just continually learn throughout your life. But in our particular situation, you know, Emma Kelly has two loving parents that are very involved. And that's a big thing in our situation. If, say, for example, and this is not the way it is, but say Emma Kelly's biological father was not in the picture and he had nothing to do with Emma Kelly, then my role would probably be a lot different than it is.
Yeah.
You know, as far as discipline, I let Kelly do the majority of that with Emma Kelly, you know, and I'm here to listen to Kelly, support Kelly, enforce whatever the rules are that are decided, you know, and be on that same page with Kelly. We can't be divided. Like if we say, Emma Kelly, you know, we've come up with this rule now because we've had some accidents upstairs. We're not going to do any more food or drinks upstairs. There's just too much going on upstairs. If, you know, Kelly said you can't do that, but then Emma Kelly came to me and said, hey, while my mom's not here, do you mind if I take a Sprite up? Yeah. If I caved, then she sees, oh, okay, they're not really united. They're just kind of saying that, you know. So my role is more be aligned with what Kelly's rules are and support her where I can. And Emma Kelly's a good kid, you know. I don't have to do a lot of disciplining, but the challenges are, and I know you guys know this, the challenges are as the children get a little bit older, especially with the girls, and they become more independent, and girls are girls, you know, they go through a lot of changes, and there's hormones, there's friends, there's school, there's pressures, there's all that going on too. And the relationship changes. And that's what I was alluding to is, you know, I'm learning about a lot of this as I go along, and the relationship changes from when my kids were small and when Emma Kelly was smaller, they look up at you and it's like, okay, whatever he says or whatever she says must be right because they're the parents. And parents are always right. I can't argue with that. When they get older and they start becoming more independent, your role changes. What I've learned, it's less of a you do this because I say you do this and this is the way it is, to more of a partnership, you know? And it's especially with girls, you know, lecturing to teenage girls or being an authoritarian, I don't know how to say the word, but you know what I mean.
Authority figure, basically.
Yeah. To being real heavy-handed with a teenage girl, in a lot of cases will backfire on you, in my opinion, as a stepdad. Or you know, even as a real dad. As a real dad.
It's just a birth dad. Yeah. That's why I'm glad you were slightly ahead of me when it comes to that, Alan, because as my daughter gets older, I can just go to you and be like, hey, wow, what do I do in this situation, bro? What'd you do?
Dude, I tell you what, it's tough. It's difficult. You know, girls are so into their daddies when they're 6, 7, 8. It's like you're freaking Superman. I can remember. It's like I could do no wrong. Mm-hmm. And then as they get older, they just they change. They do. They want to be more independent. They don't want to be as attached to you. They don't want to be around you as much. And we joke about it a lot. And Kelly does on the air too. I know she does, but it's true. Yeah. It's true. They want to be their own person and start making their own decisions. So, but they're not old enough and mature enough to make adult decisions. And that's the disconnect. That's where you have the conflict, a lot of times.
Yeah. No, I mean, I had it hit me hard recently, Nick. I know you were there for that, but I wrote a letter for my daughter when she turned 7. And she's only 7. I mean, she's not even close to being a teenager. She's halfway there. And just the part where I got to, every day that passes, you need me a little bit less.
Yeah.
That hit me. And I'm like, and I wrote that, and that hit me hard. Like, I couldn't even read it because it's true. Every day that passes.
JC, that's a beautiful thing to do. And I've been to, I'll tell you what, I'm serious. I've been to therapy sessions because of a lot of the stuff I've gone through with, my daughter and just, life. And when my therapist said that's one of the best exercises to do with your girl is write them a physical letter, and they'll always have that. And you're exactly right. A little less every day. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but that's true. And someday they're going to be ruffling through a drawer, and she's going to pull that letter out, and she may be 17, 18, 25, whatever it is, and think back, holy crap. My dad, look at the love he had for me, and I just didn't get it. I didn't see it. But that is a powerful, powerful tool that I've heard is really great to use.
I tell people all the time, we need to write our kids more often. I know a lot of us, we'll post on Instagram. We'll do that for birthdays and stuff. Right. And they can go back and look at those, and that's really sweet and everything. But there's something about a handwritten letter, that just that strikes a lot harder. So we need to do that more as parents if we can, if you haven't done that
I agree.
recently.
Alan, I'm curious. This whole letter writing and thinking about your kids, it got me thinking, Alan, if today, give each of your kids a compliment, what would you say to them? You have 4 kids. What would you say is like one compliment for each of them?
Well, let's start with the youngest, and we'll go up. So Dylan, he just turned 8. He is Dylan, you are such a friendly, outgoing guy. You really try hard on using your pleases and thank yous, and you're always willing to try things, and you put yourself out there and just give it your best shot. That's what I would say to Dylan.
As great golf swing, by the way, too.
Yeah, and you're a good golfer, and I think you should play golf because that's the sport I play.
You talk about the please and thank yous. Is it not the coolest thing ever as a dad to hear your kid unsolicited? You're not telling them to say thank you, but they say thank you.
It's
just
great.
out of, like when you didn't tell them, say thank you to your mother, but then they just say it after they get handed a glass of milk.
That's
Isn't that
the best. That's the best feeling, especially if they do it to somebody like Grandma Raspberry, who's cleaning up their plate from Thanksgiving or something like that. But
thank you.
Yeah, totally. Let's see, to Cole. So Cole, he's going to be a teenager next year. He's 12. He'll be a teenager. He'll be 13 in May. So to Cole, I would say, Cole, you are the sweetest, most sensitive kid. I was a little bit like you. I was very sensitive, still am. I was very sensitive when I was your age, and don't let anyone ever say that you shouldn't show your emotions or you shouldn't have that sensitivity about you. Keep being who you are. You work so hard in everything you do because things don't come as naturally to you. And that's okay, but you can overcome that by working hard. And if you work hard and you want to do it, you can do it. Doesn't matter what. If you want to, he loves cooking. If you want to be a chef, I'll support that. Go to culinary school, work hard. You can become a famous chef, but he is a hard worker. He is a sensitive kid. He is the sweetest. He's got the sweetest soul. So that's what I would say to Cole. Let's see. Emma Kelly is 13. Yeah, she'll be 14 in October.
Crazy.
I say, Emma Kelly, I know I'm not your real dad, your biological dad, and in the grand scheme of things, I haven't known you that long, but what I do know about you is you have a very sweet soul. You don't have a mean bone in your body. And I know you frustrate your mom a lot, or sometimes you frustrate your mom. You frustrate me sometimes too. But I know deep down you care about your mom. You love your mom. you just have a sweet way about you. And one thing I appreciate about you the most is you have always called my kids your brothers and sisters. And to me, that's that just makes my heart feel good. And I hope you're always like that, because of the fact that your mother and I came together, you have these lifelong friends, and they'll be your friends long after we're gone, so I really hope that continues, and I really appreciate that about you.
They'll always be family. That's the beautiful thing about this,
Exactly. And then to my daughter Brooke, honestly, guys, and again, to be transparent, my relationship with Brooke has really changed over the last few years. I don't see her as much as I do the other kids. In fact, I rarely see her because she's decided to, spend more time at her mom's house. And again, like I was telling you, that happens as, the teenage girls get a little older. They're tired of going back and forth. They just kind of like, look, I want
they
my
have their friends too.
I got my friends. Yeah. I got all my stuff over here. I've got my life over here. I go to school over here. I'm so busy, Dad. I mean, that's what's changed about my relationship with Brooke, just the amount of time that I've gotten to spend with her. But I know Brooke. I know Brooke's heart. And, Brooke is a very deep thinker. She's a very private person. She's very, very, very intelligent. She wants to kind of, be back in the shadows and just do her own thing. But I know Brooke. I know Brooke has a great heart. I know Brooke she's a beautiful girl. She's going to turn into a beautiful woman. And I know whatever Brooke decides that she wants to do, and I know she's kind of still working through all that because she's a sophomore in high school. Whatever she decides to do, she's going to be the best at it. I know that. Whether she becomes she's more, I think, inclined to be more professional, I think. She's always been very serious. Even as a baby, she was very serious, a very serious baby. I think she'll be one of those that's a doctor, or a lawyer, or a professional, or a teacher, or something like that. But I love Brooke, and I miss Brooke a lot. I wish I could see her more, but in a blended family, that's the way things happen sometimes. Is the children, as they get older, they start kind of making some more of their own decisions, and what makes it tough is that they can do that because, again, they have two households. Yeah, where perhaps at one household, that's just the way it's going to be over there, and there's nothing I can do about it over here. So,
and honestly, Alan, I don't know if it's even the separate households thing. It might just be a teenager thing. So I remember I prioritized my friends a lot in high school, and I thought, I'd rather go to this dumb party with 5 people because I thought a hot girl was going to show up, then go have a movie night with my parents.
Sure. And I remember it's like, what do you mean I have to wait 45 minutes and sit down and eat dinner with y'all before I can go to my friend's house?
And I tell kids this all the time when they ask me, if you could go back, what would you do differently? And a lot of times I say I wouldn't do much differently as far as my life goes, but I would absolutely spend more time with my family if I could.
Wow.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish I could. I miss time with my little sister because she was 12 years younger than me. Yeah. I missed time with my grandmother, who I lost at 21. So I thought I had all these years with her. I didn't have that much time with her. I lost time with my uncle, who passed away when I was 18. So all those times that I chose to go hang out with my friends, because that seems more fun than my family, I regret it as an adult.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And those are the things that I think. I hope some teenagers hear this and they rethink. They reprioritize who they want to hang out with and who they want to see, because honestly, we don't know how long we have our loved ones for. And you don't want to sit there as a 30-year-old person and regret. Man, I wish I would have been around my dad more.
That's encouraging, JC. That's really encouraging to hear that. I caught myself on the podcast the other night. I was talking about how I was when I was playing sports in school, and I told Kelly, I said, I didn't want my mom and dad to come watch me at my golf tournaments. I don't know what it was. I was embarrassed or just didn't want them there. I didn't want them to come into my room and mess with my stuff. I didn't want to go on vacations with them. And then I caught myself. I was like, wow, that's some of that is kind of the same things I see in teenagers today, and in my own bonus daughter and daughter. And it's like you say, I think a lot of it is that's just part of life. That's how
it's growing up.
It's growing up, exactly. And it's tough to get through, but you get through it.
But I'll tell you what, now I understand why my mom would say no when I asked to go spend the night at my friend's house. Because they want you there. I want my son and my daughter here. I honestly would love hanging out with them. Now, all these things that my parents used to do, and I used to get so pissed off at them when they wouldn't let me do something with my friends. Now I get it. Yeah. They honestly loved me that much. They wanted me around.
Well, guys, I think what we've been doing, we've been very introspective. We've been hitting our listeners in the feels. I think it's time we scratch our butts, hock a loogie,
Let's do it.
Get a little bit more manly.
We can do that.
Okay.
Did I sell that? Am I manly enough to even sell that intro for our next topic?
I mean, you got a power washer, Nick,
okay,
so you're pretty manly already.
I do. And so I would like to pitch an idea. We can discuss one. What are the manliest tools or what are the manliest sports? Alan, since you're the guest, you can pick our topic.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go with tools.
Manliest tools.
Shoot.
Yeah, let's go with tools.
You know, Alan, in this quarantine, I've made it a mission to be the manliest guy by the types of tools that I have.
Uh-huh.
So I already have a tool belt that I rarely use, but I have one. It's hanging on my wall. And when I was thinking about manliest tools, I think, of course, the ones that cut, like an axe.
Yeah.
A saw.
Chainsaw.
Something with a blade. A chainsaw is pretty legit. But I bought a gun recently. I talked about it on the morning show. It has the manliest name, and it's called a grease gun. Is that not a manly? Like it's
pretty manly, yeah.
That's manlier than a wrench or a hammer. Grease gun.
A grease gun? No, bro, a wrench.
Gun.
Like, if you just flip a wrench out of your tool belt and like twirl it around your finger real quick and then...
You know, the jangle of if you set your toolbox down and your heavy wrench and hammer make a rattle, that is kind of manly, though.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Let me throw this out just for consideration, because you have manual tools and you have power tools.
Sure.
Right.
Now, are you getting an assist if you use the electric or the gas power tool? What would be more manly, to just use brute strength and your own muscles, or be assisted by electricity or fuel?
I think the manual tools are the ones that are going to make us manlier.
But hey,
right? Because that's what.
If I'm chopping down this tree, I'm not using a saw. I'm using an electric chainsaw. I'm using something that powers through for me. You know.
Really?
But I mean,
wow.
if I'm taking down a limb that's hanging over my gate or something. Yeah, give me a chainsaw. Power through that.
But would it be manly, though, to just be swinging your axe at that tree?
You're
That's
right.
pretty manly.
True. That is true. Because
honestly, if you're like, not that I watch these all the time, but in a porn, the actresses typically will
Is this
go...
where grease gun comes up again?
No, but I'm saying, like, they don't go for the guy with the chainsaw or like the axe and stuff. They usually go for the guy that's holding, like, maybe he's doing something with the hammer real quick, or maybe with the Allen wrench. I don't know.
Wait a minute. You watch the ones with acting?
I'm not going to incriminate myself here, but yes.
Okay, I'm going a completely different route. I don't even know if this is necessarily a tool, but it's something I feel like every manly person, especially every dad, has to have.
Okay.
Extension cables. Or, sorry, not extension cables, jumper cables. A jumper cable for your car?
Yeah, jumper cables are manly.
Is that
manly.
a tool? I mean, maybe it is. I don't know, but jumper cables came into my mind like, when you're in the parking lot, you ask the manliest guy there, he's going to have jumper cables.
Oh, absolutely. In his truck, in his toolbox in his truck.
But does he know how to use it? That's the thing.
That's the thing.
I think 70% of us are out there guessing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're like, I'm pretty sure red goes to red, but
yeah.
Let's switch it this time.
Try not to shock yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the ones I had on my list, guys, I just real quick from 5 to 1. I had post hole digger, sledgehammer, machete, impact wrench, and then bastard file.
You know, I don't know what those last two are.
A bastard file is manly. Think of on your nail clipper, you have that little tiny file with the hook on it. A bastard file is about 2 feet long and about 3 inches wide. It's like and it's heavy. It's like a gigantic file that you use for filing down like steel burrs after you cut or you're trimming sheet metal, and then you gotta sand down or file down the edges. That's what you use a bastard file for. It's manly.
That sounds manly. Just the fact that it says bastard. Like, I don't need a dad.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't need any other tool to help me out.
Yeah, I don't need nobody here.
And then an impact wrench, I think, is like one of those wrenches they use in NASCAR. You know, the ones that go zzz, zzz, they take the lug nuts off with? Yeah.
See, those are cool.
You know,
those are manly.
I'm going to say my manliest one. It's not one we've brought up. And this is something that makes a cool sound. It's something that I think I look cool having. And that is a tape measure. Tape measure just flings back. Yeah, just measured that mantle.
See, I get made fun of because my measure is digital. And I showed it to my boys in the neighborhood, and they're like, oh, digital. Like, it was gross.
You know, I've got several tape measures. I've got the big one that's in the toolbox. I've got a little one we keep in the junk drawer if we're just measuring something real quick.
Yeah.
So I've got a few hidden around the house. But a tape measure, it sounds cool. You are like, oh, yeah, that's 25 4/8.
Yeah. Yeah, 4/8, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, tell me, since this is Guy Talk, and nobody's listening to us right now. You guys ever, whipped out the tape measure to measure, something?
Where do you think I got my 24 4/8 from?
I just did yesterday.
Bragger.
I just did yesterday.
No.
Yes, dude.
Was it the same length it was when you were in junior high?
So that's the thing, Nick. I've been, I tried to do like a yearly measure.
Yeah, JC has a growth chart like our kids have in the garage wall.
It's been, I think I started around college, and it's basically stayed the same. But I read an article.
That must be nice.
I read an article that says as we get older, and I don't know if this was an article that's true, but it said that we could potentially lose some, as we get older if we don't watch our diet or if we like. So I've been keeping track just to make sure that everything stays up to par and doesn't shift too much. So yes, I have.
So are you I'm just curious now. Are you checking like one dimension, or are you using the tape measure to do the wrap too?
I'm doing the one like that the tailors use.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we're going all the way.
Oh no!
Measure that inseam.
And I remember Kinsey at one point when we were dating. This is before we were married. She wanted like precise measurements.
No.
we're just hanging out. She wanted to know precise measurements because she's like, what do you think you are? And I was like, I don't know, because I knew, but
you knew, because
but I knew, yeah.
Right.
But I didn't want to throw out like a spot on number, and then just in case. And sure enough, she's like, oh, do you want to try? And so she helped out.
Well, you want to give her the good number, which is always the under number, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing: there's articles that tell you how to measure, and you're supposed to go from the pubic bone, right? So you can't go. A lot of dudes try to go undercarriage, and that'll give you an extra half.
Right,
undercarriage. Yeah. That's not. You can't do that, fellas. That's cheating.
Some dudes do, dude. They'll go from the bottom side, and they'll get that extra inch.
A half is a lot. I mean, that's a lot.
If it's any
push it down.
If it's any incentive to not get super overweight, when guys do lose a lot of weight, that area grows a little bit more.
Oh,
from what I've heard.
Yeah.
And also trimming is very important when it comes to, the optic illusion.
That gives you a 1/4 inch just optically.
Oh,
yeah.
Big time, dude. Yeah. So
that's why you got to get that Manscaped 3.0, Lawnmower 3.0, right, JC?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I got that thing, dude.
Ad?
No,
not this week. They've
just love.
Okay.
Just love. just straight up love for the Manscaped right there. That's just we use it and it helps.
Well, I think we've covered a lot here, don't you think, fellas?
I think so too. You guys get to my manliest tool, which I think is a torch. Because what is better than fire? Being able to like weld some metal and like being able to that's pretty cool right there. I don't have one, but I'm thinking about it.
JC, could you start a fire from scratch? Like, could you go in the woods, build a fire?
Yeah.
Nice.
Could you really?
I think so.
I don't think I could do that.
I mean, I say that, Alan. But you know me. I think I could do anything.
I mean, I've seen Bear Grylls fail at that, and I'm thinking, man, if that dude can't do it, there's no way I can do it.
Like, if I could find a piece of glass, definitely,
I mean, Tom Hanks figured it out. It took him a few tries.
Yeah.
But he figured it out.
Good call.
Yeah.
Alan, thanks so much for joining us. Please go check out A Sandwich and Some Lovin's podcast anywhere you get your podcast. Alan, thanks so much.
Guys, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
And in the meantime, be sure to subscribe to the Chatty Daddies and A Sandwich and Some Lovin', and those are wherever you get your podcasts, like Nick just said, okay? So make sure you hit that subscribe and hit us with a review as well.